Hi everyone and welcome to my vlog. So today I mentioned that I would share what my three novels are about, and it's kind of difficult to share 7 years of your work that you've poured your heart into and share it in a quick vlog, but what I really want to know is from you guys is if you're walking through Barnes & Nobles or if you were reading a review on Amazon, would you buy this book? Buy any of these books? Leave a comment below and give me your feedback. And don't think you're going to hurt my feelings. Definitely give me the truth. So with that being said, I'll start with the book that will probably appeal to most of you guys, since this one, for most people, seem to like health and fitness. So I'll just start with the second book I wrote. Now that one is, it's about an all-star athlete, and he's just losing his game and losing his game, and he can't seem to get it back. And he works with all these high-end people who are like supposed to be the best of the best in the business, but nobody really helps him. And then there's a trainer, a Pilates trainer named Emiko. And she has a gym full of characters of people who are just outcasts and excluded, and people that would never be welcome in just your regular everyday gym. And she helps them get stronger, she helps some of them walk, she helps some of them like overcome all these ailments. And so she gets popular. She meets him and he recruits her to pretty much be his personal trainer, and he starts getting his game back. So throughout the book, there's the theme of pain and the pain that people carry, and a lot of the doctors who are trying to help this athlete, and all these other people, counselors and psychologists, people who just are in positions to help and heal, they're not able to do it, not because they don't want to, not because they don't care, but sometimes people just really get numb. And that I wanted to really show, and I wanted to show like the trainer having to find her voice. She's a shy person who just decided, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go into fitness, I'm going to make this happen. And she finds people who relate to her, that she was once excluded herself. And it's hard for her to go to a VIP client who's a little arrogant and spoiled, but she has to choose between the two of them. And that's the first book. And it was really important to me to write that because I did work with athletes, and I did teach Pilates, and there was nothing better than someone telling you that they don't have back pain anymore, that their shoulder doesn't hurt anymore, they don't need surgery in their knee, that they can jump and they can do all these things again. And that's what I think, if any one of you who either had an ailment or train other people and you see them reach a goal that they couldn't have done on their own, that's so rewarding. So that is the first book. It was the title I had for it was The Green Monster, because as you can tell, the all-star player is a baseball player. The Green Monster is a part of Fenway Park, which is a stadium in Boston, here in the US. And if you don't like baseball, don't be turned off by it. There's jiu-jitsu scenes because I did work with some jiu-jitsu fighters. It's all about athletes and how they train. It's getting a lot into their head, and you'll see that come through inside the book. And they're fighting that pain, and they're fighting like blocking out distractions and things. So that's one of my books. Now, second book, or next book, I should say. This one was the latest one that I wrote, and I know we have someone who likes to day trade in the group, so this might appeal to you, and this might appeal to a lot of you because it has to do with choosing between living a normal life as a square or chasing something that you're passionate about. So this 30-year-old man-child, he sits at home and he day trades and surfs all day, and his girlfriend that lives with him is like, when are you gonna get a job? When are you gonna do something with your life? Well, aren't you tired of doing this all day? And he's like, no, are you kidding? I got it good. So he decides to go to the family business and says, okay, I'm approaching 30, maybe I should do something. And his father is building hotels. He owns a company that's building hotels along the coast of Mexico. He goes down there with his father to kind of help run the family business and see what it's about, and he's excluded from a group of surfers that he really wants to hang out with because he's got to hang out with his father and these businessmen. And he goes crazy in Mexico. He just decides like he, you know, has a wild night. Think of like The Hangover meets surfing, and he gets lost and robbed in Mexico. And so he has to go around and find his way back, and he meets a guide who takes him around, and they kind of get lost in circles. And he discovers a lot about himself. He discovers, you know, he meets a girl, and he discovers that he never really served anyone, and he was wasting his life, but he didn't want to work for his father anymore. And so he comes back to LA, everything's empty, and throughout the book, he's fighting an inner struggle about, like, do I live the normal life? Or do I go back to what I was doing, which is just kind of nothing really, and surfing? Like, where's the meaning? What can I do that's meaningful? And he ends up, of course, choosing that, and choosing the girl that he met in Mexico over his girlfriend. And so that's the most recent one. It's called Silencio. That's the name I like for it. Whether or not that's the title that's chosen, who knows? This is just kind of the way I've learned that the book world, the publishing world works. And the first one I wrote, the very early on in 2010, is called California Sun. Now this one is about a young heroine. She is a young mom, and this one is a lot based on my life too. She meets this weary traveler. She works as a bartender, and she meets this weary traveler. He comes through her bar stool, and he starts trying to tempt her and lure her into his world, and she's very resistant. You know, she has like, I want to be free, I want to be an artist, I want to, you know, she's working hard and she takes risks, but you see her keep on failing, and the temptation of what he offers her keeps getting bigger and bigger, and like stronger and more tempting to follow him. And without knowing it, he actually did succeed in tempting a few of her friends and people that she knew that were close to her, and you know, they start disappearing, or just, you know, like they're not showing up to work, they're not answering her phone calls, and then she realized that they followed him, they fell into the trap. So she decides to help them get out, and it's about also, now she helps bring them back. There's like a, you know, they run through the city, they go through that, you know, they are hiding like through the shipyards and the LA River and like all these dangerous parts of the city to try to get away and go back to like their neighborhood and say like, we're leaving Hollywood Hills, we're going back to where we are, and we're going to stick together and make it through this situation, like make it through this rough life that we come from. And it's the theme that I was thinking in mind when I wrote this was sometimes you have to disobey your culture, you have to leave things behind. You have to, sometimes it's hard, you want help, and you feel like you should give in to something tempting because you know that no help is coming for you, and this character makes her way through the book. Like, she finds resources, and she finds crafty solutions. I would hope she's not an anti-hero, but she does kind of come off as a little tricky, like a Scarlett O'Hara, like very, like she had to do what she has to do, but she's a survivor. So that's the book that's based on my life. You know, all this part about, you know, running through the streets and having the cultural barriers that you have to break. That is definitely, you know, being a young mom, as the main character is, working in a bar. Those are all things that I've lived through, and that book is probably one of the closest to my heart because it was definitely hard to write. It was definitely hard to dig deep, which is one of the hardest parts about writing. You have to really go into dark places sometimes, and bring out the story and bring out that conflict. So that was difficult, but I hope you guys are still with me and still watching this video, and thank you if you are. Leave a comment below if you would read one of these books, and like I said, be honest. You won't hurt my feelings, and I really want to know how to make these better. And I'm enjoying all of your videos, so I hope we keep posting, and I look forward to seeing you guys here tomorrow. Bye!